Coach! Sorry, I didn't give enough thanks. Thank you so much for this opportunity to fulfill my purpose. I just almost assaulted my teacher. I'm thankful. I'm forever, ever grateful for this opportunity to pursue my purpose. You better believe I'm gonna be the hardest working one in there. I ain't gonna let anyone outdo me like that. Thank you. Can't wait. Please stay in touch and send me stuff that I need to do. I want to learn the defense and be prepared to walk in day one. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the cool things I think when I look back at, I've had the luxury of now 3 years with Connor, being his head coach for 2 of them, and being an assistant for the first. Our first conversation when I got the head job, close to now 2.5 years ago, I'll always remember it because it kind of made me laugh. But Connor came to me, looked me dead in the eye, gave me a firm handshake, said, "Coach, I'll do anything you need except play offensive line." I laughed at it because, in the back of my mind, I didn't really need him at that position. I knew he wanted to play linebacker. I knew he wasn't going to play that position going into the year, but I knew that, that's kind of how he was going to work his way in. Eventually, he was going to try to figure out a spot or a way to get in there and play linebacker. Going back to his junior year, he did it. He wasn't. Once again, his hand was in the dirt. So pretty much for the first 3.5 years of his high school career, his hand was in the dirt, and he was playing a spot that technically he did not want to do. You would have never known that if you asked and you looked and you watched him play because of the way, the enthusiasm, the effort, like Coach Hatt said. He brought it every single day. And those are the types of things as a coach, you can do all the X's and O's, you can put all that stuff together, but if the kid is not going to go out there and play for you and play for your heart, it doesn't really matter. And that was one thing with Connor, you never had to worry about that. And I always remember we're getting ready to go to Watsego, his junior year, it's been 2 years ago. We were banged up, we had injuries galore. Connor finally was going to get his opportunity to play linebacker. It was a big week for him, it was a big day for him. And I know I can say this, but Connor, probably your worst half of football. You would agree? So finally, after all this work, he finally gets the opportunity to play linebacker, and he struggled a little bit. I think he was just excited. He was flying around. Had a pretty stern conversation at halftime with our defensive coordinator, and then probably played his best half of football the second half. And I think from that moment forward, we knew, hey, we've got a linebacker, and he's going to be pretty much the leader of our defense. Fast forward then to the end of the season, having a conversation with him, he had high expectations. He told himself flat out, I remember he had a conversation with me, "Coach, I want to play Division I football." At that moment, realistically, I was like, this is going to be a challenge. I'm not going to lie, this is going to be tough. We don't have a lot of film right now on you in that position. We'll see what happens. Connor took it all in stride and just started working. And that's the one thing he always has done. Since I've known him, he always has worked. He sets his goals up extremely high. I mean, his goals for himself are higher than a lot of kids put on themselves. Does not scare him. He puts his head down and he works. Sure enough, he put together probably one of the better off seasons I've seen out of a high school kid, and just worked and worked. Didn't miss a single off season workout with us, while also running track, while also going up and getting private lessons with one of our coaches a handful of times a week. All he did all off season in spring and summer was work. And he did it for this moment right here. I mean, and that's why it's such a cool day and such an awesome opportunity that we get to come here and celebrate the hard work, because really when you look at it, he had a lot of things against him. A lot of different things go against him. And yet here he is now today, and we get to celebrate him because he gets the opportunity now next fall to go and compete at a Division I school. So now to bring back up the offensive line part, I always just laugh at this story now because I just think, once again, it just shows the true character and the type of man he is, and why no matter what happens in his life, he's going to be successful because of the type of person he is, and putting all the self stuff he throws off to the side, and it's always about the team with him. And so this year, we're 0-3, we're struggling. We are looking to find something to get us going. And what better than to turn to your senior guy who put all the work in and ask him to make probably one of the bigger sacrifices you can make as a player, of not only going from a skilled position to the offensive line, but also then having to lose the number in which, if you are an athlete, your number is very important to you. It always has been. And to then have to take that away from a kid and say, hey, you no longer get this. You have to now go put on, what number were you? I can't remember. 50. Big 5-0. So you went from beautiful looking number 7 to a 5-0. And extremely tough for him. I know it was. But I'll tell you what, it almost added a little extra chip on his shoulder. Like he also had to prove even more people wrong now. And he went out there. And I mean, really, when you look at kind of the turn of our season, it was a crucial part when he jumped on that offensive line because we started to run the football a lot better. And he'll always be part of the group that, led that 313 yards against Otsego. He was a huge part of that, along with some of those guys. But that's a record in our program, and probably a record that might stay for a while. And he'll always have his name part of that because of the sacrifices he made for the program and for this team. So, Connor, we're going to miss you a ton next year. It's hard to replace a guy like you because of the way you worked, because of the way you brought people along with you. There was never a day where I think you showed up here empty-handed. Your car was always filled with people, grabbing people, calling guys, making sure that, hey, as many people as possible we can get here, we got here. And, when we look at, when we made that turn this year and we're going to keep turning and then eventually get this program back to where it needs to be, you're going to be a vital part of that because of the way you work. So I can't wait. I know we'll be in Oklahoma soon, whether it's next year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. When you get on the football field, I'll tell you right now, there'll be a lot of people from Sturgis that'll be there, and we'll be excited. But I thank you. I thank you for your work. This football team thanks you. I think it's awesome. We have 27 guys here, at 6:30 in the morning, coming here to celebrate you. So, just an awesome moment. But, I think in big picture, you'll look back, and this is a very cool day. But in the big grand scheme of things, it's a small, small day in the overall kind of trajectory of what you want to accomplish when you're there. So we look forward to it. Once again, anything you ever need from myself, any of the admins, any of the teammates, any of the coaches, we are here for you, and we'll always be rooting you on, man. So let's just give Connor a big round of applause.